Testing. Hey guys, welcome to Dr. Kim Live. Today we're going to be talking about romance. I'll be right back. Hey guys, I am so excited to be with you today on Dr. Kim Live on YouTube. What a great day it is. It is a Tuesday. Where are we? About the 7th day. I kind of got mixed up. Better look at my Apple Watch. Yeah, 7th day of August. Can you believe that? All right. I hope you guys are having a great summer. We will be here every week live on YouTube, and we're going to talk about things that hopefully that you want to talk about. Today we're going to talk about romance. Megan's going to be taking your questions. You can put that in the chat. And we would love to answer your questions. And so let's kind of get started. So the thing I want to talk about today is a question I get asked a lot in the counseling room, and that is, does romance have to fade in your marriage? Because I think what happens to a lot of couples is, man, the romance maybe is really there. It's always great before you get married, you're thinking, ooh, I want to get married. So, and so then you get married and it's great. And then you get life happens, and then maybe you have a kid, and then you maybe have another kid, and then you're tired, and all these things that you did that just kind of put that spark in your marriage, we kind of quit going. And so sometimes people just say we quit doing. People say romance just fades, doesn't it? No, it doesn't have to. So let me give you a couple things to think about. Think about what you did before marriage that you guys thought was romantic. And what about trying to do some of those again? And it doesn't have to be the candlelit dinner. It doesn't have to be sitting in front of a fireplace. It can be leaving a note for each other. It can be a surprise. It can be a small gift. It can be a date night. Having date nights is so important, and doing that consistently is so important. So I'd encourage you to do those things, but think about the things you did before you got married, and why not try to do things then? Or at least use that as a springboard to kind of tweak or get in and get you guys going on doing something romantic. Now, another thing you can do is just sit down and have this talk and talk about, what do you think is romantic now? And then do those for each other. Nancy and I are living in a new house, and we've never had a house with a front porch before. Well, this one does. Nancy loves sitting on the front porch. It's something that she really likes. I'd rather sit on the patio, but in the back. But because she likes sitting on the front, I sit out there with her. She thinks it's romantic. She thinks I'm sacrificing for her, which I kind of am. But I want to do that for her. So looking for things that you can do today that might be romantic. Having a date once a week is so important. You don't have to spend a lot of money. If you're worried about babysitters, trade off with another couple. Get them to keep your kids one week. You keep theirs the next week. I'd love you to have a date every week, but at least try to have one every other week. And then do some unexpected things for each other. Little notes that just say, I love you, I'm thinking about you, I care about you. Leaving those where your spouse will find them. Texting your spouse in the middle of the day when they don't expect it, and they know you're busy, and yet they're willing to do that for you. That always works really well. Other things you can do a Bitmoji. Nancy and I have these Bitmojis, and there's all kinds of cool little love yous and all kinds of cool little things that you can do with those, sending them to each other during the day. Be creative. Be creative about romance. You can Google it. I guarantee you will get tons and tons of ideas. A lot of them you'll have to toss, but you probably will get some you can keep, and then run by your spouse and say, hey, I saw these. Are there any of those you think romantic? Circle the ones you think romantic and do it. She'll appreciate the effort, or he'll appreciate the effort that you put into it. Sure, the candlelit dinners, relaxing in front of a fireplace, giving massages, taking a bath together, taking a shower together. Those are all great. But there's other things you can do to kind of get that spark going during the day. Okay? So I think the key for the whole thing is realizing what your spouse likes, what they think is romantic, and then doing it. Okay, I would love to have you guys text in a question, chat in a question. We'd love to answer those. Here's one that this kind of talks about. We just talked about, how do I keep romance alive in my marriage? Well, I think it goes back. I think for a lot of you guys, it's going to be sitting down and having that talk and saying, man, we've kind of let this go. I'd love for us to get this spark going again. And that doesn't necessarily mean sex. I think what happens is, without romance, sex can become mundane, with romance, sex can become awesome again. And so talk about it. Do something intentional that is romantic together. Share what you think is romantic. Do something for your spouse and continually do those. And I'll guarantee you, when they see you're serious, when they see you be consistent, they'll do things back for you too. Okay, I think we got another question. Please text yours in. I'd love to see your questions. And here we go. Do you think romance is a significant part of every couple's life? Probably not, but can it be? Yes, it goes back to what we just talked about. It's being intentional about it. And I get it. You get tired, you get busy, you got kids, all those kind of things, and it takes more of an effort. But I guarantee you it'll be worth the effort. It will add life and energy to you. It will make some of those feelings that you had when you first dated and that you really were so in love with each other, it'll bring some of those back. It's just worth it. It's just worth the time. Okay, one of the things we do at Awesome Marriage is I do a bunch of vlogs, video vlogs. They are on YouTube, which we're on right now, and so you can access those. This is one that I did that had to do with romance. I thought you guys might enjoy, and it might stimulate a little conversation. So let's look. Hey guys, today we're going to talk doing small things in your marriage for great love. You know, there are big things and big issues that can destroy marriage, and we talk about that a lot. But as far as one of the things that can keep a marriage really good, it's the little things. The simple things can keep a marriage moving forward day after day after day. At Awesome Marriage, most of us watch this show, This Is Us, and so we talk about it a lot. If you follow that show, you remember the story about Jack's best friend and how that marriage fell apart and how it ended in divorce because they drifted apart. Do you remember the first indication that things were heading south? Remember, he stopped bringing her coffee in the morning. Such a simple thing, a little thing. But that day she didn't notice. He didn't pick the habit back up, and slowly but surely they continued to stop doing the little things, and they drifted apart, and they ended up in divorce. Man, I don't want that ever to happen to you or to me. Do small things daily and intentionally to keep your marriage good. Daily good habits will help you build a marriage foundation that's unshakable, it's unbreakable. So let's talk about some practical examples of things that you can do routinely that will help keep and make your marriage good. Pray together every day. You know, don't get hung up on you're not a pastor or whatever. Just pray. Pray for your marriage. Pray for each other. Thank God for your marriage. Just something simple. Doesn't have to be very long. Husbands, open the door for your wives. Don't neglect this now that you're married. Number 3, write a short love note on a sticky note. Too many notes there. Do that for your spouse at least once a week, and then just put it somewhere where they're going to find it. Send your spouse an I love you text, and do that routinely. Use emojis like Nancy and I do. It's a lot of fun. Serve your spouse sexually. Make sure that you're making time for intimacy in your marriage. Do small things for your spouse that you know they love, like bringing them coffee in the morning, making them favorite cookies, cheering on their favorite sports team with them. So what are the small things you want from your spouse? Tell them today. Ask your spouse then to tell you what small things that they want you to do too. What do they need from you? Don't give up on doing the small things. Work to build an unbreakable marriage foundation. Is it worth it? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's worth it. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. You can see all kinds of vlogs. Some of them are fun, some of them are crazy, some of them are all kinds of stuff, but it's just another way to get you guys thinking about marriage and being intentional about it. The thing that on there too, you know, it's people are thinking, okay, romance and prayer, how does that work together? I don't know, but there's been research done, and the research says that the couples who regularly pray together have much better sex life. So I'm just leaving it at that, guys. Go with it. All right. Here's another question that came in. How can I how can I ask my spouse to be romantic without seeming needy? Well, I don't think you're needy by wanting your spouse to be romantic with you. I think it's something that if I was seeing you guys in counseling, I would guess that life has gotten in the way, that that you have been asking your spouse about romance, you've been wanting them to do romantic things, and busyness of life have got in the way, and maybe they have made you feel like you're needy. There is nothing wrong for asking your spouse, let's work on a romance in our marriage. I think that's what, and I think it goes back to God's intention. God is romance is all the way through the Bible. You look at the Song of Solomon, and it's very clear the romance between the husband and the wife in that. So it's something that is designed for marriage, and God wants us to have in marriage. So I don't think you're being needy. I think you sit down and say we need to have this conversation. Okay, another question. Now, this is a tough one. What do I do when I feel forced to show my spouse romance? I don't think we'll get forced that anything is good. I think it's got to come from our heart, which means I think if you feel forced, then I think it means maybe counseling, maybe Christian counseling for you guys. Somewhere you got off base, and instead of doing it from the joy of the relationship, out of the goodness of your heart, out of your love for your spouse, you feel it's forced. I don't think it's ever going to work being forced that way. I think you guys need to take the time to work that out. Probably it's going to help if you have a good counselor or a mentor couple to help you work through that. Okay? All right. Another thing that we do at Awesome Marriage that I love is our podcast. We did one not too long ago about how you define romance. And that one, Christina is with us. She's always on the podcast. Nils is one of our hosts and also a special guest at times. And so I think you might enjoy this clip.
How do you define romance?
I agree, Christina. I think it is, but thinking about it really all the week, knowing this, I asked Nancy what she thought, and her answer was something like it's that feeling of excitement and mystery and love, that it's something that is exciting, which I think is good, especially since that's my wife saying it. That makes me feel like I'm maybe hitting it pretty good in that with her. I think for me, romance is I think there is a feeling part of it, that romantic feeling that we like. But for me, I think when I think of it in my marriage, it is really showing care at a deep level with Nancy, so that it's a way of conveying my love to her in a way that I hope she really receives and knows that. And then we do that. I mean, some things we do, like a romantic dinner or like a special weekend away or something like that, where we want it to be what we'd probably call something romantic. What do you guys think?
I naturally think about a romantic comedy, a movie or romance. And so naturally, I think of it as the emotional side of the relationship. And so you will do something romantic, like buy flowers or go to dinner, and that naturally creates the connection emotionally with the spouse. So that's what I stir to. And naturally, that's the positive emotions that go into that marriage relationship. That's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I think for me it's like the sweet surprise. It's kind of like what Nancy was saying. It's interesting. So I was doing a little bit of research in Urban Dictionary. I like the way they defined it. They said true romance is doing something special or unexpected for someone you love, even though you don't have to. And I think that just defines it well. It's like what you were saying, Dr. Kim. It's just showing your significant other that they're special, that they still mean something to you. And so you do something unexpected for them, whatever it is. It could look like a lot of different things. So that's
cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So does romance have to fade over time in a marriage? This notion that marital romance gradually dies over time is a cultural truth that becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy when we accept it as truth. We get married and the romance is good. And after a few years, and a lot of the times it's when the kids come in the picture, it begins to fade. And we think the fading romance is the norm, so we accept it and we move on. And we might think about the good old days when the fire was lit, but now we think it would take too much work to rekindle the fire. Today I want to blow that cultural truth out of the water. Romance doesn't have to fade. In fact, I've counseled many couples who would say the romance in their marriage has grown over the years. Maybe we need to stop and redefine romance. Romance isn't sex, but sex can become romantic. Romance happens when a husband and a wife are purposeful about finding ways to express their love for each other every day. It may involve non-sexual touching or helping around the house or making alone time for each other a priority. And when we consistently do these things, the sex seems to take care of itself. So whether you've been married 1 year, 5 years, or 50 years, if the romance has died, it's time to get out the shock paddles and bring it back to life. Your one thing today, write down 2 things you think are romantic and share them with your spouse. So does romance have to fade away? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. I know. So what I was saying about this, we have the romance plan on the YouVersion Bible app. You can search my name, Kim Kimmerling. You can search Awesome Marriage, and then you can start this plan together. And it would be great for you guys to do it if you're looking about other things to help your marriage. Go to the Awesome Marriage website. You can see up there. You've got all kinds of things. We've got blogs and podcasts and things about marriage and Facebook community that you can join and share with others about marriage and get some more input from other people and kind of walk that line together. You can find that at Okay. So anyway, not me. Hope you guys enjoy that. Hope you guys participate in that next week. I'm sorry with a little bit of the technical stuff we have today. This is going to get better every week. I promise it will. I am excited to be here. I'm excited to have you guys join us. I love having your questions. Please send us questions. Please let us know how you like it. Please rate it and review it. If you liked it, don't be hard on us because this is number one. It will be better every single week. And until next week, have a great week. Have an awesome marriage.